I always wince when I hit start streaming because, you know, I'll do like a preview to make sure that the windows are in the right spot, and oh, it's my hand. Hello. That's see, I'm literally like 20 seconds in and I'm making an ass of myself. But usually I think that I'm gonna make an ass of myself in like a tech way or something like that. Let me just post. So people know that we're doing a thing. Good. Great. Terrific. We did such a good job, everyone. We did it. Let me know, of course. You know what? I forgot to change something on the mic. I bet it's going to screw everything up. Yeah. That at least will probably be closer to what people are used to hearing, even if it's not good. Okay. Suitably epic. Find your pencils, lost in the art box. Music. Oh, that's right, the scissors. Put them in here thinking, oh, that's a great spot for them, and then immediately forgot that's where I put them. Just put them back where they almost always are. If that's not necessarily where we'll usually see them. Just doing all kinds of clattering. Hi, Blowtorch. You're correct. I'm not him. Would that I were. How great would it be to see Bob Ross putting together some D&D stuff? Maybe next time. I'm sure he'll get to that in one of his later episodes or something like that. Well, I'm glad that I do have scissors here because this. Strip we won't be able to use. And then... So today I'm drawing some stuff that we're actually going to use in tomorrow's game, but it's not like necessarily publicly known where these locations are, what they entail. So I'm going to do something different this week than what I did last week. Last week we were very deliberately like, this is what the purpose of this room is, and oh, there's my hand again. To really like work in like a thumbs up. There, yes, good. I'm a cool guy. Gonna get so many twitches. But this week I don't want to give away necessarily stuff that might be like what is in this room, that kind of thing. It's part of that will be part of the surprise for tomorrow. So what I'm going to try to do is draw, but not necessarily give stuff away that I think would be spoilery, I guess, in nature. Let me see if I can do a little better job with this camera. The answer is probably no, but that's fine. That's fine. So can sort of knock out a few of these. So the very first thing that we're going to draw is we're going to draw sort of a crisscrossing hallway. At least one rock. I might be able to do that. This area is, I will say, it's a little bit more urban than a lot of D&D maps are. Maybe we can fit a rock in there. Is that a Bob Ross ism to get a rock in there. I haven't been keeping up with the stream as much as I would like. I wonder if they're archived. That'd be a lot of episodes to archive. I mean, I guess I could just, watch them all on wherever it is that they're regularly kept, but this hall is gonna look disconcertingly like a hashtag, I've just realized. Excuse me. How rude. But you know what? Sometimes you have to draw hallways that look like a hashtag. And that's how your life goes. Like last week, we're doing some real kind of light lines. I'm trying to go deliberately a little bit darker this week because people had some difficulty seeing them last time around. And also because these are pretty relatively straightforward straight lines, and I know exactly what it is that I want to draw without necessarily needing a reference or needing to revisit or anything like that. Good. This is a pretty basic kind of intersection, but it will work pretty well for, I think, what we're trying to do. Which, again, you'll find out a little bit more about the actual game tomorrow. I'm not going to spend a ton of time embellishing this, but can add just a little bit of wall detail that we might not otherwise have. Real quick, just kind of adding a little bit of flavor to what would otherwise just be some empty walls. And then we're going to have a little bit of debris sort of in the paths. I'm going to do a little bit of that, just sort of erratically, just to sort of kind of mess up the halls so that they're not completely just open. That one I realize is off camera. I apologize. I'll try and keep up with that a little bit better. But actually, I'm almost done with that one anyway. We're going to try and get just a little bit more. Actually, we can get like a little bit of bone debris and that kind of thing. Make a little happy skull. What's going on? So last week we were talking a little bit about, having maps ready for sort of generic purposes of having, like a town square or having a tavern or a crossroads or something like that ready. In this particular case, I'm sort of hedging my bets where I've got what I think is a strong guess as to what the players are going to do tomorrow, but I have no way of actually knowing. And in fact, they might decide to do it but not get around to it for quite a while, or they might fail an encounter on the way to this and have to backtrack or retreat or something like that. So we're sort of building this sort of stuff preemptively, sort of like a best case scenario kind of thing. But it's not even necessarily the best case because there's no telling what the players might wind up doing in the course of getting from there to here. Or they might decide, you know what, we're going to go this completely other way that we have thought of. And to a certain extent, you kind of have to enable that as a dungeon master, because the entire purpose is to let everyone collaborate in telling a story. And if the story that winds up getting told isn't necessarily one that involves this weird hashtag hallway, then you just sort of have to accept that. But part of that is why, you don't spend an egregious amount of time. I mean, if we really wanted to, we could really dress up this hall. I mean, we could have some tapestries in there, we could have some detail and the cracks in the walls and stuff like that. We could have all kinds of stuff. But as it is, I mean, we've been doing this for, 5 minutes, and I've kind of got a hallway that serves the purpose that I need it to for the encounter that I have in mind that might happen in this room. And it's really just fine as is. I mean, even just doing ink and doing color is almost too great an embellishment for something that you might use and you might not. And if you do wind up using it, then you're going to use it for a certain period of time. And it's good to have stuff that looks good for that amount of time, but just being aware that once you're past that, particularly if it's really specialized, you might not really have a use for that map anymore. And so you don't necessarily want to soak too much of your efforts in unless it's really, really meant to be something special. One-off stuff that's got a very, very specific intent. If it's like you're facing off a boss that's been hounding the players for several levels, it's a real arch nemesis type encounter, or it's a particular figure of great import, of great significance, or if it's just happening in a place that looks really, really interesting. We had one encounter where the players were approaching this gigantic monument out in the hinterlands that looked like this giant mantis head, and it had all these praying mantis men, worshipping it and raising their many arms in worship. And it turned out that there was not even a fight in that location, but it was a really interesting kind of moment, and I thought it was worth having that one illustrated out, even though we weren't going to have it for a battle map. I mean, they could have started a fight. They absolutely could have attacked something, or they might have been attacked if they had behaved in the correct manner. But as it happened, it turned out not to be a combat encounter at all. So it's absolutely worth considering, where are the players going to be? How much effort do I really need to invest in the prep for that particular area? And I say that, mind, not because, I like being lazy or because I don't like doing the prep. I mean, I love that kind of stuff. Half the reason I run Dungeons & Dragons is because I really like doing this kind of thing. I absolutely love having an outlet for this kind of creative work. But it's not necessarily the case that maps are the only thing that you're preparing. If you're getting into a particular situation, then you might have a particular song that you want to play during that fight. You might, you have to craft the encounter itself, which can either mean customizing monsters or finding just the right kind of mini art, or coming up with special abilities that are unique to that enemy mob or something like that. Or there might be some special bonus thing to the situation where, you know, it's on a time limit or there's traps around the room or something like that. And those are the sorts of things that take time as well. And if you're spending every minute leading up to the game making maps, then even if you have the time to do those other things, you're going to run short on energy. So spreading your workload between maps, encounters, coming up with characters, backstory, magical items and treasure. Gotta have your treasure prepped. All takes energy. So we're getting really close here. Got some embellishment. Again, this is really just to highlight the walls, not even to draw attention to them, just so that they're not plain, just so that they're not completely just the exact same as the floor. In fact, we're going to go back over this a little bit with the pencil again. Just do a little bit of shading. I think that'll look good. That way it's really clear. Here's where the wall is. Here's where the floor is. Do with that what you will, players. Oh, my chat applet isn't working. I wonder why that is. Hi, Squeaky. How's it going? Good to see ya. Weird. Come on, Nightbot. Get your shit together. Oh well. Maybe it'll just start working. Who can say? How's it going, Squeaky? Back over this one a little bit. This one needs to get darkened up a little bit here too, just so it's nice and consistent across the walls. Okay. Got ourselves a hashtag intersection with these weird used condoms sitting in the halls. Gross. And like I said, hopefully, maybe not, we'll see just what it is that we need this particular hallway for tomorrow. But then sort of carrying on what I was just talking about, you know, whether or not you're going to need a particular map for a particular purpose. One thing that's kind of nice, actually, having this kind of level of preparedness is if it turns out the players don't go here, then I have a map sort of saved up in the archives. For whenever I might happen to need one. Are they going to the Sandy Snatch? Well, that's really up to them, isn't it? Maybe that's where all the answers lie. There we go. Good. That sheet got some good use. Got one map down, that's good. We got bad at there. Sorry. Pretty good. Plenty of room for a squad of adventurers and I don't know, maybe some monsters. Okay, so we're gonna follow that up with a little bit of a different kind of room. Figure out. Oh, that's not what I want you to point at. I think if I do a broad angle like this, you'll be able to see more of what it is that I'm working on. Go ahead and run with that for a little while. Just like last week, using some hash marks to sort of figure out the lay of the land. Go about that size, a little bit off camera, but try and amend that as we go. Chat is really just not planning on showing up. What's up with them? I don't know, not clear, but that's okay. Not an especially busy night for it anyway. That's fine, that's not why we're here. We're here to draw. Pull out. So we're gonna go one like that. Maybe not even that wide. I think we're gonna go about that size. If chat's invisible, it's not. Oh, look! Look, your little motto made it show up. Good job, Squeaky. You did a good job. So much for being invisible. Hello, so much for being invisible. Who needs chat when you got a dog? Hey, I need chat. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. generally outline that. Man, you really can't see a whole lot of what it is that I'm doing here, can you? Well, that's fine. We'll fix that up. There's so many dogs. Ah, there's also autofocus. Oh my god, that was terrible. That was literally the worst thing in the entire world. Great googly moogly. That is not desirable. Okay. Hopefully that will not happen again. I'm sorry about that. Hello, what are you up to? Lemon juice. That's weird. Text messages feel so special. Invisible ink. I think I remember reading that in Highlights magazine. Trying to improve this camera situation a little bit. Oh yeah, that's better. Well, it's at least a little bit better. Just need to keep adjusting, I think. That makes good sense. Getting all correct with this. I'll tell you what, let's try sliding this down a little bit. Do a little bit more top-down action. There, that's a little bit better. I just immediately move my hand and start drawing stuff that's at the wrong end of the paper. Again, with the spatial awareness. We'll get it. We'll get it. Someday. So what's new with you, Squeaky? What's going on with your November so far? Oh, that's exciting. I was just talking to Fieldy earlier today about Nano. That's cool. My dog is acting like he needs to go outside, so I'm gonna do that. Come on. Great. What are you thinking of writing about? Do you have like a plot or a particular setting just yet? Actually, I guess that's a question for both Nano and for Dungeons and Dragons. Filling in with some debris here. One of the things I like about just sort of... Remember what we were saying last time about, you know, kind of general iconography where you sort of established for your players that this is what a door looks like or a table looks like, that kind of thing. But you can do that same sort of thing kind of with garbage, where it doesn't even necessarily have to be a thing. It's just sort of an assembly of shapes that are just environmental in nature. And again, like what we did last week, we probably will skip doing strong inks and the outlines of those to show that it's not something you're meant to pick up or anything like that. Certainly lots of other kinds of obstacles in this room can be picked up. Going off-road again. Okay. Do the same thing again. We did a little bit of like decal work. It's kind of light, so maybe not the easiest kind of thing to see, but we've got sort of some splatters and stuff here and there. Just some more of that. Good. Just add a little bit more detail to a couple of these tables. I've got this room off to the side that we're going to have just a tiny bit of detail to. Not a whole lot, but, you know, enough. Here again, we're adding a particular thing to the ground. Dress up table, not the table, floor, just a bit more. Good. Let's do some inks. Fox, how much of your campaign is made up by you and how much is straight from Dark Sun books? I would say that very, very little of... I would not have to kill you. That's a very good question. So, very often I will take something that the Dark Sun books talk about and then really kind of think about what is it that I want to do with that item in the context of the story that I've chosen to tell. So, what do I mean by that? What I mean is, I have a particular story or a particular adventure that I wanted to put together that I thought worked really well for the Dark Sun world. And that particular adventure, like a given character, a given city, or a given monster, or a particular dungeon, or something like that, was sort of inspired by some of the stuff that some of the core books talk about, but don't give you an enormous amount of detail on. It's sort of left to you as like, hey, here's this hook. A hook is, you know, a name or a description or a legend or something like that that the source material will give you in the hopes that it intrigues you in some way and leads you to some sort of a creative decision. Hi, Wyvern, how's it going? So, I found a particular hook that interested me, that made me go, okay, this is a neat thing to do in the Dark Sun world. Let's explore that. And so I sort of came up with the overall story based on that. But then, likewise, for particular locations, for particular characters, for particular types of plots, a lot of it is me going, okay, well, the players are in this kind of a situation. They're in a location or a setting or in a frame of mind that calls to mind these kinds of things. How can I make that work? Hi, Dunju! So a real example of that is this idea of Rom. Rom is this city that's very chaotic. There's no strong government of any kind. It's very strong, take what they want, don't care about anything else. Everyone's in it for themselves. And so a lot of the decisions that I've made about what particular characters might do are informed a little bit by stuff in the books, absolutely. The books, particularly stuff like Veiled Alliance contacts and stuff like that. If you've got your hands on the right book, you've got a wealth of information available about what the Dungeons & Dragons writers thought was interesting about particular characters. But that is assuming those characters in just sort of a here's the dark sun setting, just as it is. So what I'll do is I'll read, whether it's a full biography or oh my god, I just completely forgot about steering this camera, and go, okay, well this is a worthwhile character for me to use, but let me figure out some way to adapt them in such a way that they make more sense for what it is that I need them for right this second. So for example, Nanda Shatri, who is the leader of the Veiled Alliance in Rom, she's very similar in my game to how she is portrayed in the source material. But I've chosen to cast her as quite a bit older. And part of the reason for that is that I wanted to portray the Alliance and Rom as very magically capable, but not necessarily capable of like going out and doing missions on their own, that kind of thing. And that's certainly not a criticism of the elderly or anything like that. But I did think that having the leader be a little bit more, wheelchair bound, not very clear in terms of how it is that she wants to see her goals accomplished. A little bit scatterbrained, but also very imperious, very like, this is how it's going to be. I'm very, very old. You're going to listen to what it is that I have to say. Very no nonsense, very let's get things done. But without, a roadmap of like, all right, well, to take over the city, we need to do these things. I just thought that worked better. And could I have made that work using the character as she was exactly in the books? Probably. But it just worked better for me to do that, so that's what I did. I'm doing great, Wyvern, thank you. No, Thursday is another special adventure. Hi, Zess, how's it going? Thanks for coming by. Yeah, so Monday looks like it might be my map drawing creative type stuff night. And then Tuesdays, of course, we'll play some D&D. But then this Thursday, I'm also starting a brand new episodic adventure type series that will be streamed live here on twitch.com. That will be... I'm incredibly excited about it. I'm excited about the game. I'm excited about the people that I'm playing it with, and I'll be telling people all about that Thursday morning on Facebook and on Twitter, ahead of us actually playing that evening. Cool. A few more colors for this particular room. Excuse me. Again, I need someone just to blow an air horn in my face every time that I forget about the camera. I'm sorry about that. Maybe I should enable motion tracking or something like that. So, as a matter of fact, Zess, I'm not talking a huge amount about what the rooms are or what they are going to be used for. The tavern that we were putting together last week, everyone sort of knew already, the party included, that they were going to see a tavern of some kind. This particular week I need these maps, but I haven't actually said like, oh, they're going to this particular place, because we still have to figure out what it is that the players decide they're going to do. I've got a general kind of idea, so I'm putting together these maps now. But what they're going to have precisely and what they're being used for is going to be discovered sometime in the near future. Of course, you're welcome to guess. I mean, I won't tell you yes or no, but it might be easier to guess. Oh, that's a good question, Zess. So, as a matter of fact, no, these particular rooms are not based on a particular layout that I found in another resource. These ones, I've been brainstorming what to do with these for a few days, and so I had a pretty good idea of what it is that I wanted. I just hadn't actually taken the time to sit down and draw yet. So these are just sort of getting free-handed. Is the music a little loud? I can crank the microphone a little bit if that will help. Let me know if that's of any use to you. Dog is giving me bad looks through the porch window, like, why aren't you letting me inside? Did you forget about me? Why am I outside? I'm not so far from the mic. It's a pretty good mic, as a matter of fact, but I was screwing around with it for some other purposes this weekend, so I may have screwed up the reception for stream purposes. I should probably take another look at it before we broadcast tomorrow night. That would be smart. Well, my dog is pretty smart. He knows that I will cave in eventually if he keeps looking at me with those eyes. So I'm going to let him in real quick. I'll be right back. Good news. Pull us here. Up. Up, 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 up. Hello. Let's draw. Here. Goodbye. What a good dog. So well behaved. He's pretty concerned basically all of the time. Just like me. I might also be quiet because I'm actually quite tired, so if I am simply just mumbling and expecting the microphone to translate my voice into clear language, that might be my fault more than technology's. There are definitely splatters of something, Maximuse. I'll leave it to your imagination to decide what precisely. Pleasa. It might well be piles of Pleasa. How's it going, Ben? Oh, there are a bunch of tools up on that table, aren't there? That looks menacing. Yes, this is the fireball factory. This is where all the fireballs come from. All over the world. Yay, darkness. Thank you, darkness. You did such a good job. Boop and boop. Good, great. Still got a couple of barrels over here. Let's real quick. This marker is dead, dead, dead. Let's remember to throw that out. There we go. That's the stuff. And then I think the very last thing is this weird debris in the corners. And again, this doesn't have to be super clean. This can almost just be scribbles, but we've got these sort of guidelines. Cameras. 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 Oh yeah, yeah. The area of truth. That's probably what this is. And then, like the previous room, we're just going to do a quick first. Set our doors up. The proper coloration look like doors. And we're going to do a quick pass with a pencil. Sort of darken up these corners. Is that what his house is like? Just stray lightning and fire just sitting around. Just out on the countertop. What a slob. Got another door here. Ugh. Okay, and then... Oh, it's just a regular house, just on fire. Like The Sims. And we're just gonna do a quick trace. Not perfectly symmetrical, but that's okay. Let's take... Let me see if I can... Whoop, sorry, that's a little dizzying. Trying to see if we could do a little bit better of a view. It clearly is not going the way that I had planned. Oh, I'm so sorry. This is such a bad idea. I'm just gonna put it right back where it was. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, what a huge mistake that was. Let's just cut it out and then... Oh boy, it was a lot better 30 seconds ago, Tai Chi. Oh, I'm so sorry. Let's just cut it out and then we can do a better job. Literally everything. Polo, you're not any help at all. You can't fool me. You're just a dog. You don't know how to draw. Okay, so here we've got this second kind of macabre looking room. Is it Marvin's house? Is it the area of truth? I don't know. You'll have to tune in tomorrow to find out. This could just be a very messy pizzeria. I mean, maybe that's the blood of tomatoes. Polo is the helpingest. He's such a good boy. What a good dog. What a good boy. Hi, Lobos. How's it going? Thanks for the host, friendo. Boop. There, we've got sort of an additional little baby room. We've got that. And then we've got this whole spectacle. And then earlier, we also put together this hallway. There. Absolutely, Lobos. Let's chat as soon as I finish up. I'm going to draw one more map. Oh my... Wait. Is that can't be what time it is. It's not. I have to fix this clock. I set my clocks. I have a couple of not digital battery operated clocks. And I reset one of them and for daylight savings. And apparently it hasn't resumed ticking ever since then. So it's just stuck at 11:07. I thought that it was 11:07 at night. And I was almost very sad because I want to go to sleep. I need a full night's sleep. If it was 11:10 already and I had just committed to talking about RPG stuff, then that would be a problem. But it's not. Everything's okay. Polo, do you want to try and help again? Here, you can just get on the couch. Good boy! Are you just gonna take a nap? Are you just gonna take a nap? Do you think it's 11 o'clock? I thought so. Oh, Thunder Mountain is live! Oh man, I'm excited. Someone should add me to a party right now so I can go do Thunder Mountain. I should close Facebook so it doesn't make a whole bunch of noises. Okay, let's actually set up the camera this time for Oh, I'm looking at the wrong feed. Sorry, I was looking at Twitch as opposed to OBS. Okay, this is good. This is good. I like this. Thunder Mountain's pretty good. It'll get you a lot of badges. Oh! Do I want to join a party? Hell yes. Do I have a class? I don't know if I have a class. What an idiot! Me. I'm the idiot. Oh, I'm in a party now. I'm sorry. And also, I'm actually busy drawing. But that's okay. I mean, I guess I could draw in DPS. That's right, Ben. Thunder Mountain is one of the dungeons in the Wolfpack RPG. So I believe that the chat is actually pulling from Foxbot, not from the Foxhound account. So if I was whispering with my bot, which I could do, then it would probably show those, is what I think would happen. But that means you guys can't see how rad I am in Thunder Mountain right now, which is too bad. I definitely don't want to show whispers. That would be a terrible idea. That'll do. Actually kind of undecided about the shape of this room. I've got a general idea in my head, but... Oh no, we did fail. We did a bad job. Oh my god, someone died. Wow. Well, that is unfortunate. It's a sad thing my adventures have ended here. You'll just have to take my word for it that this is what has happened. Oh well. Mm-hmm. Okay, I've got an idea of how I'm going to change this up. Maybe it was a different Lobos. A more, you know, dead one. Again, I'm sorry that this is kind of light. I just want to get the shape down before I sketch it up. Like so. Higher. Higher. There we go. So we've got sort of a very odd kind of configuration for this particular room, but there is a reason for it, and we shall see what precisely that is in short order. I mean, not in short order, you'll see tomorrow. Assuming that the players make it that far. Actually, we're going to jump ahead to inks right away on this one. Let's move this a little bit. There, that's so much better. Hi, Scrawl. How's it going? Welcome aboard the USS Foxhound. I am your captain, Homestar Runner. Goodbye, it's Smash. I'm sorry you died. You know what? I didn't put a door here, but let's fashion one real quick. Thankfully, doors are pretty easy. Oh, Lieutenant Smash, I'm sorry. I did not even register that that was just your name with different capitals. My bad. Well, unfortunately, I am going to affectionately call you It's Mash from now on instead of your name that is very clearly written out. I've got a little bit of a hallway leading up to this room. Okay, so we've got sort of this weird kind of horned mask room now. And we're going to do something special now. We're going to sort of add something off in the corners. I'm not going to tell you what it is necessarily. Again, you're welcome to guess. I won't necessarily confirm or deny what a particular thing is, but it's going to be a thing. It should be fun. Hi, Weenie Baby. How's it going? And if I do... Well, I'm certainly going to try to do a regular Monday night kind of thing. And if I do spoilery type stuff like this, I can always sort of revisit it in subsequent streams and talk about, yeah, this is sort of what I was thinking about for this map. Of course, you can always bug me after the fact on Twitter or Facebook. Remember to like us on Facebook, by the way. We like your likes. They're a great way to get information about what's going on. How's it going, Miyazaki? You absolutely should. This is the absolute best time to get back into D&D. It is so great. And there's so many great things going on, and they keep coming out with great books. It's like popular now. Like people are like really into it. It's terrific. Oh, I know the feeling, Weenie. I love coming up with characters. I always have. I would spend, even if when I wasn't in a campaign, I would very often just generate characters and come up with ideas for what a character would be like. I have some brushes somewhere around here, Oscar. I'm just not quite the situation for them. You know, I haven't really had a chance to play too much more of it beyond that one stream, Shattered Ice. But it sounds like they're coming up with some interesting changes in the year ahead, so probably something to keep an eye on. I hope it does well. Well, I think that you're absolutely right. 3.5/Pathfinder definitely have more options for characters. I view that as a advantage personally. I actually think that if you have so many different classes and builds that players can be, that it really kind of gets lost. There's just so many different types of data to keep track of, particularly if you're running a game. That's selfish, I know, but a lot of being a dungeon master means being selfish at the appropriate opportunities. I really like what 5 does in terms of keeping the initial number of classes relatively small, and I mean that's still 12 classes, but giving you builds within those classes that give you the options that might be fun and interesting to do and or play. Maybe, Oscar. Certainly nothing wrong with that. If you have any questions about Dungeons & Dragons, I literally live to babble on about Dungeons & Dragons to people. If you are interested. If you're not, that is perfectly fine too. Use different Twitch accounts based on what they're watching. Maybe? I don't know. I've not done that myself. I have an account for me and the bot, but I just have the bot just parked in IRC. I never watched anything with it. I'll change the category based on what I'm streaming. Like, I'm streaming under Creative today. Yay, Creative. We did it. And I'll stream under Dungeons & Dragons if we're actually playing Dungeons & Dragons. But that's still the same account. It's just, different categories, really. Just add a few moats. That's another thing, Weenie, is that 3.5 by now has been around for so long that the sheer volume of material that is absolutely abusable is just so huge. I like being a part of 5, not just because I think 5 is great, but it's really exciting for me to be playing something that is a live, new product. But not one that's like still partially formed. Like, I very deliberately did not play any D&D Next. D&D Next was sort of the workshop version of 5 before it really went and became, before it was published as an actual thing. You know, it was what they used to playtest stuff. And I didn't play any of that. I looked at some of it, but I was very, very like, I will play this when you think it is ready, and I'm not actually interested in like participating in the beta test type stuff. Like, that's, I make games for a living. I don't feel a special urge to test other people's games for them, which, I mean, not everyone makes games, so I imagine that beta testing is certainly a lot of fun for others, even people that do make games. So that's certainly not a judgment on that, but for me, that's just not really what I'm into. But once 5 did come out, 5 was opportunely timed. Have a good night, Smash. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. Lobos was actually running a Pathfinder adventure that had come to a close, and we were talking about, well, what do we want to do with this? And I was like, well, I love dungeon mastering, and I love this setting, and I think if we rearranged our player base just a little bit, and if we really felt like it, we could start playing new Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. And thank goodness Lobo said yes. Thank you. Because here we are. Get there. Cool. We're going to do one thing in this room that we don't usually do, which is do a little tiny bit of detail on the floor, simply because looking at this room, it's very deliberately not full of a lot of different kinds of things. We've got some mysterious kind of stuff going on here, but this area is pretty sparse. So what we're going to do is we're just do a little tiny bit of shading. You don't want to get the grid lost in this room, but it did, Lobos. Lobos whispered me to say my on-screen chat died. It was not working earlier today. And then it suddenly started working in the middle of things, so I was like, okay. And now it seems to have gone kaput yet again. Let's try clicking it and seeing if that somehow helps. I don't know why that would... Oh, it reinitialized. Maybe that's good. I don't know. Oh yeah, a third weapon. That makes total sense. Sure. What is your favorite race in D&D? All versions. Absolute favorite race. Flavor, abilities, everything. Interesting. Have I checked if chat is plugged in? Well, I see someone's... Yeah, there, I plugged it in. Thank you. Thanks, Wyvern. Thanks. 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 Thank you. Thank you, Polo. Thanks. Thank you. So I don't know if this is my absolute favorite, but one of the reasons that I love Dark Sun so much is I love Thri-kreen. I love the idea of just these bug men that have this completely alien disposition about the way the world works. And if you meet one, they might go, "Hello, strange fleshly creature." Or they might try to eat you. Bye, Lobos. I'll talk to you in a little bit. I don't know if they're my all-time favorite necessarily, but they do jump to mind. Granted, usually if I'm playing, I'll play as a human. I think that is simply because I feel like in a lot of campaigns, whatever your racial identity is kind of gets... it sort of becomes this really big, kind of overwhelming part of your character. And I guess that's true or not true, depending on the game that you're in, but I don't know, I've never really felt like I need that to be an aspect of what it is that I'm doing. I did play... I played as a shifter in a Eberron campaign in 3.5. Oh, you know who I love is the Warforged. I don't like seeing them in a whole lot of other things, but I think they're so great for Eberron. I love Eberron. I really love Eberron. And I love Warforged, who are basically these sentient robots, basically. You know, they're like steampunk robots in a Dungeons & Dragons setting. And they were really interesting in the setting of Eberron because they had been built as these machines of war, and somewhere along the line they figured out how to get sentience, but they continued being soldiers. And then this war ended, and they were set free as part of the terms of the peace accord. And some people are like, well, of course, that's the way that it should be. But lots of other people are like, well, no, they're not people. They're just machines. And Warforged have to deal with living in this world that very regularly does not accept them, even as people, even as creatures. When in many ways they are not. They absolutely are not. So I thought that was a really kind of interesting kind of thing to insert into that setting. I wouldn't necessarily love to have like, let's put a Warforged in Dark Sun, you know, that's kind of odd and not great, but I mean, if a player really wanted to get on board with that, I guess I would figure out a way to make it work, but I feel like they're a very specifically Dark Sun kind of thing, the same way that Thrycreen and Mulls are, that kind of thing. Cool. Alright, we've got this room here now, in addition, which I will cut up, and I will be all set, I think, with the maps that I need for tomorrow, which is terrific. Which is great. Cool. Illegally. Then before that we had our hallway with these strange clumps off in the corners. And we had this confirmed Illuminati antechamber. And this bloody mess. Miyazaki, don't you know there's acid pits in the middle of every one of these rooms? I mean, probably. For all anyone knows, anyway. Cool. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out. I would love to do more, but I have other stuff that I need to do before I wrap up and go to sleep. Let's continue the creative spirit. I'm going to go ahead and host Carson. Carson is a fabulous artist, one of the best, terrific streamers. Yeah, sorry, Squeaky keeps making me laugh at all hours. If you're not following Carson, you should be. He's terrific. He's an incredibly cool, incredibly humble dude. And we're gonna raid him. We're going to we're just gonna go and make a mess of things. tune in tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be a fantastic session. I'm totally okay with just saying that right away. Tomorrow's going to be great. I really recommend tuning in. Yeah. Alright, y'all. Have a good night.